So Christ is a long ladder, an accessible ladder, a durable ladder, a dependable ladder. He's an effective ladder, and he's also a revealed ladder. What I mean by that is that God had to wait until Jacob was asleep. And when he was asleep, he revealed to him this ladder. This ladder has always been. This God-devised system of reconciling sinners to God has always been, but Jacob had no knowledge of it. And so God revealed it to him. He showed him the ladder that was already there. Jacob didn't have to build the ladder. God just opened his eyes to see the ladder that was already there. God did this for me when I was 19 years old. I grew up in a religious system. I went to church every Sunday. I was even part of the worship team. I had no knowledge of salvation. I don't remember anyone ever telling me the gospel for 19 years. When I was 19 years old, there was a traveling gospel bluegrass band that went through Sacramento. And they lost their banjo player. And somehow they got my phone number. They called me up and said, "Hey, would you be interested in auditioning?" I said, "Yeah." I'd been going to American River Junior College for a year and a half, and I had no idea what I wanted to do in life. But I knew I loved music. And specifically, I loved the banjo, and I loved bluegrass music. And here is a band who wants to hire me to travel full-time and just do music. I thought, what could be better than that? I'm ready. Let me at it. So they paid me $150, room and board. And the room and board was staying at this person's house one night, and that person's house the next night, and this person's house the following night. And we traveled in this big white van for one solid year. But God used that. I entered into the band a lost person, not knowing the gospel, not having any kind of relationship to Jesus Christ. And I began to hear preaching, because we'd go to church after church after church, and we'd do these concerts. And I would hear the gospel. And then we'd go stay at the pastor's house overnight. And he would say, "So Brian, what's your testimony?" And I said, what's a testimony? You know, your story. How did you become a Christian? And I think I bluffed my way through it a few times, but I realized pretty quick, I don't really have one of those. A testimony? I didn't even know what he was talking about. So one of those pastors was kind enough to give me a Bible. A big, black, King James Version, Thompson Chain Reference Bible. I still have it. And I started to read it for the first time in my life. I'd tried to before. I tried to read the Bible, but it was like ink on white pages. It just was so boring, and I just couldn't get past the first page, and so I would always stop. But I don't know what happened. Well, now I do know what happened. God opened my eyes. And He caused His living Word to live in me, and I started to see with new eyes the glory of Jesus Christ. You know, over in 2 Corinthians 4, it says that the God of this world, Satan, has blinded the minds of the unbelieving that they might not see the glory of Christ. Well, so in order for you to be saved, God has to shine His light into your heart so that you can see the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ. That's what happens when someone gets saved. This heavenly light comes into someone's heart, and they see. Before, they couldn't see any glory in Christ. Now they see it. That happened to me when I was 19 years old. Traveling around the western U.S., doing concerts, God flipped the switch, turned on the lights, and I fell in love with Jesus. And I've never been the same person since. Just like Jacob, God revealed to me a ladder. It was already there. I didn't build this ladder. I didn't come up with a ladder. He just showed me the one that was already there. And this is what God has got to do in our lives. We call this regeneration. It's the new birth. It's God flipping the switch. It's Him turning over that key and the engine starts. It's God doing something on the inside of the soul of a person to make him a new person. So He's a revealed ladder. He's a revealed ladder.